Going live, going live, going live, and going live, and according to YouTube, I am live. Hello, if you watch this live, and hello, if you watch it on playback, and welcome to my 51st I Will Say live stream on this channel. And also, I should say, Happy New Year! We are finally almost out of 2021. And by the way, you can actually see my mic here. You can see a bit more of my room again. I'm having this big, wide shot of my room at the start of the live stream for today. But yes, Happy New Year. It's New Year's Eve as I do this live stream. I don't know what it'll be when you guys actually watch it. It's going to make it focus in there. Focus. Focusing in. Yes, it's finally focused. Right, yeah. Happy New Year to anyone watching this live, and if you're watching the playback, I'm doing this on New Year, so still, Happy New Year. And yes, it's 2022 tomorrow, which is quite something, to be honest. The fact that we're almost out of 2021, I think, is a tad bit scary, but also a tad bit exciting. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about, actually. I haven't really thought about that before I started this live stream. I will be doing my top 10 of 2021 at some point. My top 10 favourite films, and my top 10, the films I didn't like. My top 10 films of my top 10 worst films of the year, if you will, at some point in the next couple of weeks. Because there's a couple more films coming out, which already came out in America, but haven't come out in the UK where I am. And so I'm not personally counting them as, films of 2022 if I'm seeing them like next week or the week after, because they already came out in America and actually people in the UK have already seen it, like Licorice Pizza, the new Paul Thomas Anderson film, which I'm really looking forward to. That's already come out in America and some people in the UK have already seen it. It's screened in the UK. It just hasn't had its big, pardon me there, it just hasn't had its big release in the UK yet. But basically, I will be getting around to seeing that, and so I'm not doing my top 10 films of 2021 until I see like Licorice Pizza and until I see Nightmare Alley as well, which is the Guillermo del Toro film, which I'm not sure when that comes out in the UK actually, but I know it's come out in the US and I know it's screened in the UK already. I'm just waiting to see it myself, if you got what I mean. So I probably won't actually do my top 10 films of 2021 till the end of January 2022, but nevertheless, I will get my top 10 coming soon, especially since it's 2022 tomorrow. And also, I should say that if you don't know what these live streams are, I haven't actually done my introduction to these live streams. If you don't know what live streams are, essentially once or twice or maybe even 3 times a week, I talk about current movie and TV topics going on in the movie and TV world right now. And at the same time, though, if you are watching this live, I will be answering any live questions sent in on this live stream. And also, if you have like a comment you want to put in during this live stream, please feel free to do so. And also, if you're watching playback and you have a topic you want me to talk about in my next live stream, please let me know in the comment section below. And also, I should say a couple of I can't even speak today. Also, I should say a couple of housekeeping items off the bat. First of all, if you hear like a loud car, truck, tractor, whatnot going past at any point during this live stream, I do apologise. There's a main road, there's a busy road right next to where I'm doing my live streams, just out there. So any point you do have like a loud car, truck, tractor, whatnot going past at any point during this live stream, I do apologise if it interferes with the sound. And also, it probably won't happen today, but just in case it does, you might hear some like drilling going on, the house is next to me, because even so, I live in the countryside, sometimes it does sound like a new next door building site, because one of my neighbours is a builder, so he's always doing work and things like that. So if you do hear some like drilling going on in the background of this live stream, again, I do apologise. Can't even speak today. I do apologise about that if that happens. And also, in the past couple of live streams, it didn't happen so much in my last live stream, but it has happened in the past couple of I can't even speak. It has happened in the past couple of live streams I've done. Basically, the stream has cut out. And so, if OBS, if the stream's health is not great and it does cut out at any point during this live stream, I do apologise. Hopefully it doesn't, but there's a chance it might. So I'm warning you now. If I'm halfway through a sentence and then for some reason the stream pauses or it cuts out, again, that's out of my control. It might happen. There's a good chance it will happen actually. And if that does happen, I am very sorry, and I tried to fix it the best as possible, and hopefully it doesn't. But anyway, yes, it's the last day of 2021. So basically, I was planning to do like full-on film reviews for these two films that I'm doing and that I'm reviewing today. I'm reviewing, Don't Look Up, the new Adam McKay film, which is on Netflix. I saw that last night, and also I'm reviewing The Kingsman, which I saw yesterday as well, which I saw at the cinema, which I was really happy to go and see at the cinema, because actually I think in the UK, because I don't know where people's watching this, but in the UK where I am, I think cinema's going to close soon, which isn't great, but at the same time though, I'm happy I got to go yesterday. I'm happy I got to go again yesterday before the new year, and hopefully I get to see Licorice Pizza in the cinema as well, but I'm not, I'm not banking on that at the moment. But anyway, yeah, basically, I saw these two films yesterday, and I decided not to do a big, long review of these two films like I usually would, with my camera and everything, kind of do like a bigger edited and stuff like that. I'm not going to do a big, long film review of these two films, because in the end, my number one reason for not doing that is simply because I'm lazy at the moment. Over Christmas, I get very lazy, and also I seem to get very ill. I'm not too well at the moment. I'm better than I was the other day. I don't know if you, if you watched my review of the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett, I was not well whatsoever. However, today, I feel a bit better. I'm still not 100%, so bear with me when I'm making my points and things like that, because I might go on for a tangent, and I apologise if that does happen. And also, I'm not on top form, so if I do slur my speech or you can't tell what I'm saying, I do apologise about that. Or if I'm not making my points too clear, again, I apologise. It's just I'm not on top form. But I did want to give my views of these two films, because I have talked about them quite a bit in the past. I've talked about the Kingsman a lot, actually, because I am a fan of the Kingsman franchise as a whole. I'm a huge fan of Kingsman The Secret Service, and I'm a huge fan of the Kingsman Golden Circle. I know a lot of people don't like the sequel. Personally, I quite enjoy it. But the thing is, though, I'm a fan of the Kingsman films, so I do want to give my opinion on this channel, but at the same time, though, not at the moment, I just didn't want to, do a big, long film review like I usually do. I will get back to my film reviews on the camera and things like that, which, are not live streamed, or which they're edited and things like that, but for now, I just didn't want to today. I'm just going to be honest, I just didn't want to do it on these videos at the moment, because I'm not feeling 100%, and also I'm a bit lazy right now. So, and they also talked about Don't Look Up a couple of months ago, I think. Yeah, I think when the first trailer for Don't Look Up came out, I did briefly talk about it, and by the way, the casting for that film is incredible. But yes, I did briefly talk about Don't Look Up when we first got a trailer for it, but I will be giving my review of that today as well, which it's getting quite split opinions. It's being quite divisive and things like that. For people, some people are actually adoring Don't Look, some people are hating it. I would say I'm in the middle, but I'll be giving my opinion on Don't Look Up very, very shortly in this live stream. But also, I should say, by the way, that I probably won't get back to doing any proper film reviews and whatnot for the next couple of weeks, because basically I will be doing some live streams over the next couple of weeks, but I've also got some work to hand in, got some work to do and things like that. And also, I'm planning my big, New Year video where I compile all, these videos that I've taken over 2021 into one big video. And so that's going to take a bit of time to do. I only started editing that last night, and it takes forever to do those big, compilation videos and things like that. Is that the right word? Whatever. You get what I mean. The big videos, when I put all these different videos and images together, I do want to go on holiday quite a lot. And I'm doing it over 2021, over the year, so I'm going to get all these videos that I've taken from January 2021 to December 2021, and I can't even speak, to December 2021, and put it all in one big video. And I'm doing that, but it takes quite a bit of time, so I won't be doing any proper videos after I finish that. But yes, I will still be doing stuff on the channel. I will still be doing my spoiler review of the second episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and I will still be talking about my opinion on other films and some other movie and TV news over the next couple of weeks. But for now, this is kind of my last film review-esque video, if you know what I mean. I'm not even entirely sure myself what I'm going on about, but this is kind of my last, my last proper sort of live stream for a while. I probably won't do another live stream for at least a good couple of days, maybe a week, but next Wednesday, actually, as soon as I said that. Next Wednesday will be my next live stream. Don't have a clue what I'm going on about anymore, but yes, next Wednesday will be my next live stream, because that is the next episode, that's when the next episode of the Book of Boba Fett comes out, so that'll be my next live stream. But basically, I'm having a tad bit of a break from YouTube, but I'm still doing stuff, if you know what I mean. So I'm not really having a break, but I'm just not doing as much YouTube as it was, before Christmas. That's what I'm trying to say in the end. But anyway, I am here now, and I'm doing my live stream now, and I just rambled on for 10 minutes about what's happening. Man alive, these live streams get all over the place sometimes. I just rambled on for 10 minutes. Wow. Okay, yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get into my views of the films I'm talking about today, before I ramble on a bit too much. But yes, Happy New Year, and without further ado, let's get into my first film review today. And by the way, these film reviews are not going to be long. I'm not going to go on extensively about these films. I may ramble on, and and sorry if I do, but at the same time though, I'm not gonna go on and on about these films. I'm just gonna give my brief opinion on them. Although I might do a video about The Kingsman in like a couple months' time when I get to see like when it comes out on DVD or when it comes out on streaming, because it'll come out on Disney Plus in a couple of months. So I might do a separate video about The Kingsman in the near distant future. But for now, these are just my general opinions on Don't Look Up and The Kingsman, which I watched recently. So without further ado, let's talk about The Kingsman. Wrong there. Let's talk about Don't Look Up first. Let's talk about Don't Look Up. So, if you don't know what this film is, essentially it's on Netflix. I'll be surprised if you don't know what it is, because it's been talked about a lot recently. And basically, the film revolves around two astrologists. I think that's the word. I might be wrong there, and apologies if I am. Basically, two astrologers played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, who basically, they see this comet coming down to Earth, and they go and tell the authorities, and the authorities don't care about it whatsoever. And then a lot of complications occur throughout the rest of the movie, as basically Leonardo DiCaprio's character and what's the name, Jennifer Lawrence's characters basically try and tell the Earth that they're all going to die, and the Earth, kind of ignores and everything. They just kind of ignore what these two scientists are saying. And the film has received quite mixed opinions from people. There's some people out there who absolutely love this film. I've seen it on Twitter. Some people who absolutely love the film. I've seen it like twice. And there's some people who despise this movie. Honestly, it quite literally has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, which quite literally means that 50% of critics loved the film, or at least liked it, or something like that, and then 50% of critics didn't. And I'm kind of in the middle. I think it's a good film. I actually quite liked it. Now, there's some weird moments in there, and there's a lot of sex storylines which didn't really work for me. There's this whole thing at one stage where basically Leonardo DiCaprio's character becomes a bit of a sex object, as a sexy astrologist, and it doesn't really work that, in my opinion. I think that's a word, by the way. I might be getting it wrong. Apologies if I'm getting his job title wrong there. But yeah, he becomes a bit of a sexy, astrologist at one point in the film, and it didn't really work for me, that storyline. And also, there's a lot of moments in the film which just kind of feel unnecessary. But then, in the end, those moments kind of made the film work for me a bit better. Honestly, when I was watching the film with my brother, and as soon as I finished it, I went, oh, it's about 20 minutes of that film you could easily cut out. And he said, what? What could he easily cut out of that? And I went, well, all that stuff when they're not doing anything. Well, they're just kind of sitting around, not really caring about the comet coming down to Earth. And he said, no, that's the point of the film. The point of the film is that the point of the film is, for a large part of the film, they don't care about the comet coming down to Earth. And actually, I think that's really good. I think that actually works quite well, the fact that a large proportion of this film is them not caring about the fact that they're all going to die, and them just ignoring that sort of stuff. And also, Meryl Streep's character is basically a female version of Trump. Honestly, the similarities, and if you watch the film, you know exactly what I mean, but the similarities between, Meryl Streep's character in the film and Trump in real life are striking. And it is like Adam McKay, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Adam McKay, the writer director of the film, sat down and literally wrote that character like he was writing a Trump. That's what it kind of feels like. And Adam McKay is a good filmmaker, by the way. He directed this film. He also directed, The Big Short, which I thought was a really good film. He directed Vice in 2018 with Christian Bale and Amy Adams. And I thought Vice was good. A bit of a rushed ending, but I did think it was good. And also he directed the Anchorman films. I haven't seen the Anchorman films, but I know they're popular. And he also directed Step Brothers. And he directed the other guys as well. But Step Brothers is like his big one, which, I enjoy Step Brothers. I don't think it's a brilliant comedy, but I do enjoy it. I don't think it's as good as everyone else says. I think it's a bit of fun. But yes, Adam McKay is a good filmmaker. And actually, I don't think this is his best movie, but I do think he takes some interesting decisions in the filmmaking department. You'll get this quite atmospheric scene where it's building up with the score and things like that, and then it'll just cut, and there'll be no sort of score going in the background, and particularly in the last 15 minutes of the film, where it's building up to this comet come down on Earth, and Earth is falling apart and things like that. There's these really weird decisions made in the filmmaking, which I can see, might alienate people, but at the same time, they'll kind of work to me. I liked the way the last 15 minutes of the film were done. I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't seen the film. But the last 15 minutes in particular was very interesting, because you have this big atmospheric stuff going on in Meryl Streep's character, not to give too much away there, but there's just a whole storyline going on Meryl Streep's character, which is quite atmospheric, and oh my god, end of the world. And then you have this other storyline going on, Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio, and although, yes, it's the end of the world, that whole stuff, Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio towards the end of the film, it's not treated as the end of the world, and then at the same time though, it kind of is. Again, if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. There's this, I think the last 20 minutes of the film, like last 15, 20 minutes, works really well. I thought the last 15, 20 minutes was actually quite scary, and it's actually quite accurate about the way the world will react. And I think, you know, all the performances are really good. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is definitely the best in the film. You know, there's one moment in particular in the film where he's on a live TV broadcast and he's saying, you know, no one's listening, the comets come down to earth. He's having a big shout and everything, he's shouting all over the broadcast, and it's really good. It's a really good scene. And it's like, okay, Leonardo DiCaprio, he probably deserves an Oscar for this film. But yes, you know, that was a really good scene in the film. He's my favourite performance in the film, and everyone else agreed as well. Like, I understand why, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Jonah Hill in this film, because he not really meant to be the biggest fan of his character, but he was there quite a lot in the film. And also, Meryl Streep is good in the film as well, given a very different performance than you've probably seen her do previously. Jennifer Lawrence is good in the film as well. You know, I'm not entirely sure what she chose this film, though, because Jennifer Lawrence hadn't done a film for ages, and she chose to do this film. And it's a bit weird that they got such a big cast to be in this film. Like, normally, if you showed the film to someone and didn't know any of the cast members, you'd assume that they're all nobodies, because basically the film is one of those sorts of films where you don't expect a cast like this to do a film like this, is what I'm trying to say. And actually, watching it is a bit jarring, because you're watching a character like Leonardo DiCaprio deliver all these, you know, quote-unquote comedic lines, because not all the comedy works in the film. Although, some of the comedy did work to me. Some of the comedy did work for me, but not all of it did. But sometimes, it's one of those films, which, this is what I'm trying to say, it's one of those films where you half expect Homer Simpson, I'm not even joking here, you half expect Homer Simpson to run across the screen and go, we're gonna die. That's what sort of film it is. And, you know, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I'm also not saying that in a good way. It's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit too comedic in some parts, and it's baggy, and it's messy, but then the film still worked me quite a lot, though. There are quite a lot of serious moments in the film which worked to me, and like I said before, just having these cast members in the film is weird. Having Mark Rylance in there. Mark Rylance is, you know, famously quite a theatrical actor, he works in theatre quite a lot, but having him in this film, and playing quite a horrible character, it's weird. It's weird watching it. It's jarring, and, you know, I've had to kind of take myself out of the film in quite a few sequences, like, oh my god, that's Mark Rylance, because he was just so different than you usually see him in other films like Ready Player One and the BFG and so on and so on and so on. Bridge of Spies as well, which is brilliant. But then you watch him in this film, it's like, why did he choose to do this role? I don't know whatsoever why he chose to do this role, but he's in there. I wasn't the biggest fan of Mark Rylance in the film, but I don't think that was Mark Rylance's fault. I think that was a writing's fault, because I don't think this is Adam McKay's best movie. I think his best movie is The Big Short still. By the way, go and check out that film. Quite scary, probably the best horror movies of the past couple of years, but it's not actually a horror movie, you guess what I mean. It's quite a scary film just in general. But then you can have like other cast members in the film, like Ariana Grande. Not entirely sure why she's in the film. I understood maybe in some parts to bring in a certain demographic, but didn't really work for me. Also, Timothée Chalamet is in this film, which many people might have seen recently as Paul Atreides in Dune. Great film, by the way. He's in this film, again, not really sure why. Any other actor could have played that part that Timothée Chalamet played. You know, it didn't have to be played by Timothée Chalamet, but he's not bad in there. He's alright, it's got some good moments in there, but it does kind of feel like in this film that every single time Timothée Chalamet is in a scene, you know, Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, he says a line and goes, it's like he's really proud of himself for being in a scene with those two actors and saying that line with those two actors there. That's what it kind of feels like. And if you watch the film, there's quite a few moments when, you know, Timothée Chalamet will say a line, it's like, he's doing a lot of that facial expression, like he's really proud of himself after he just said that line of dialogue in the film. And also, other moments in the film, Cate Blanchett is completely unrecognisable. I think she was good in the film, but again, that could have been played by anyone. I'm not really sure why Cate Blanchett chose to be in this film. Same with Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry was good in this film as well. I also heard, by the way, that they cut a cameo from Matthew Perry, which obviously many people know as Chandler from Friends, in this film. I'm not entirely sure why they did that. I think a cameo from Matthew Perry would have worked, actually, because there's a cameo from Chris Evans in the film, which obviously many people know as Captain America, which worked quite well. And, you know, the film is good overall. There's some comedy in the film which works really well, in my opinion. I did laugh out loud in quite a few sequences. Pardon me there, I did laugh out loud in quite a few sequences, but I also didn't in some other sequences. I think there's some baggy parts of the film. I think it's a bit messy. pardon me again there. I think it's a bit messy, and I don't think it's Adam McKay's best film. But saying that though, clearly this is an Adam McKay film. It's got the Adam McKay certain direction in it. I think the tension building moments are done quite well, particularly in the last, 15, 20 minutes of the film. I think the post-credit scenes are awful. I think the post-credit scenes are just awful, but at the same time though, I think the performances are good, and I think it's an interesting film. It's an interesting take on a disaster film. I don't think it's going to be remembered in like 20 years time. I don't think it's a classic, and I'm still, I'm baffled about how they got this cast to be in this film. I've been scratching my head about it all night ever since I saw the film. I was like, why you got this cast to be in this film? I really don't know why, but nevertheless though, it worked for me. It did work for me. And it's pretty much what it says on the tin. Don't go into this film expecting some, like, I don't know, The Godfather, or something like, I always compare it to The Godfather, but it's the truth. Don't go into this film expecting some, like, hard-hitting and quite slow burn, because that's not what you're going to get in the end. It's an Adam McKay comedy done in quite a end-of-the-world sort of way, and it works to a degree, but it also could have been a bit better, and I don't love it, but at the same time, no, I don't dislike it. I thought it was good, but not brilliant. That's what I'm trying to say. I thought it was good, but not brilliant, and I enjoyed it overall, even if some of it didn't work for me. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Don't Look Up for now. I'm going to say that it's a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed the film. I did. It was a nice surprise, and I enjoyed it, and I thought it was better than some people make it out to be, but also, I understand the criticism. I understand the criticism quite well. And, it's not for everyone, and that's fine. No film is. All films are subjective and things like that. Everyone has their own opinion of film and whatnot. And I can clearly understand why some people wouldn't like this film. In fact, there are large in the film which I really didn't get along with. But there's also large in the film which I really liked. There are. And I thought it was a really well made film. A bit overly edited and a bit naff in some parts. And it didn't quite have the punch that a film like The Big Short does. But I do think that Adam McKay did a good job making this film, and I don't think it's bad as some people are saying, but I also don't think it's as great as some people are saying. I rather like it, but at the same time though, I don't love it. And so, all in all, my opinion on Don't Look Up is that it's a good film, not brilliant, but good, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 from me. So that is the end of my first film review of today's live stream. So my second film review is one I've been talking about on this channel for quite a while now. And that is, of course, The Kingsman. Now, this is my view of The Kingsman. This is my general thoughts after watching it for the first time. And I will probably do another video on this in the near distant future after I watch the film for a second time. Because it's quite overwhelming watching it in the cinema, actually. Because we've had to wait so long for this film. Initially, it was meant to come out in, like, February 2020. And then it got delayed. And that was before films getting delayed for the pandemic, by the way. It didn't get delayed because of the pandemic. I think it got delayed because of the Fox merger with Disney. And so, this film's funded by Fox, so it got delayed. And then it got delayed to like September 2020, so clearly some stuff going on behind the scenes. And then obviously it didn't come out then because of the pandemic. And then it got delayed again to February 2021, and then it didn't come out then. And then finally it's come out around Christmas 2021. Yeah, it came out on, it says December 22nd there, I don't know if you can tell on the poster. It says December 22nd, that's when it came out in the US. It came out in the UK on Boxing Day, and I finally got around to seeing it yesterday, on December 30th. And honestly, after waiting for this film for so long, this is what I'm going to say about it. I like it, but I like it, but it does have some pretty bad sections in there. I think the film is good. I think it's fun. I thought it was enjoyable, but I thought the first 45 minutes of the film was pretty bad. Honestly, the big problem with this film is that it tries to ingrain itself too much in, how World War I came to be and the big events around World War I, where in the end it should have just done the Indiana Jones thing. Like Indiana Jones films, or even the Young Indiana Jones, for that matter, the Young Indiana Jones series, which is heavily underrated in my opinion, what it should have done, what those films and what the Indiana Jones films and the Young Indiana Jones TV series do so well, is that they have their stories, taking place in World War I and World War II, but the thing is though, they're going on at the same time. They're not heavily affecting anything like that. Like, if you look at something like Raiders of the Lost Ark, you just follow an indie story, and it's taking place during World War II, but it's not affecting any big events in World War II. This movie takes place in World War I, and there's moments in the film where the Kingsmen will do things and things like that, and then it will, heavily affect a big event in World War I. Like, early on in the film, if you don't know already, basically, the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was a big thing, well, kind of the thing that made World War One happen. That's what, as far as I know, might be completely wrong there, but as far as I know, the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was a big thing that made the First World War happen. And basically, in this film, there's a scene early on in the film between Ray Fiennes' character and his son there, which you can see behind Rasputin on the poster, who's kind of like the protagonist of the film. That's the way the trailers have marketed him, not giving anything away there. But anyway, basically, yeah, there's a scene between Ray Fiennes' character and his son in the film. And, Ray Fiennes' character, like, you're being sent to Austria to look after Franz Ferdinand. He's just like, well, I know what's going to happen here. And it's just like, I'm not sure why they tried to do that. I'm not sure why Matthew Vaughn, who obviously, directed this film, directed the previous two Kingdom films, directed this film, and also was co-writer in this film, sat down and wanted to make a film which is ingrained in the history of World War II and these big historical events in history. I wish, in the end, it just kind of did the Indiana Jones thing. Because in the end, I think, the best parts of the film are when you just kind of see the main characters, whether it's Ray Fiennes, his son in the film, Jim Artison's character, Jimon Honsu's character, or you can see on the poster, and also Rhys Ifans as Rasputin. I think the best parts of the film are when you see them all together, and you just have fun with the main characters. I think the worst part of the film, and the worst part of the film actually as a whole, is when it tries to do all this political stuff, and tries to all political satire back from World War One, and it doesn't work whatsoever, that sort of stuff. Like, I got this whole starting to Charles Dance at one stage, which I got bored of instantly, and I love Charles Dance. I think he's a great actor, but I got bored of him instantly in this film, and that's not a good sign. And also Tom Hollander, not Tom Holland, who plays Peter Parker at Spider-Man at the moment, not Tom Holland, Tom Hollander, there's a difference there. Tom Hollander, go look him if you don't know him. Basically, there's this storyline where he's basically playing 3 different characters. And again, that completely lost me as soon as it happened in the film. And also, there's a song, what's the other song? There's a song to do with Daniel Bruhl as well. Daniel Bruhl, great actor from Glorious Bastards, played Zemo in Captain America Civil War and the Falcon Winter Soldier TV show. Great actor, complete waste in the film. And a song with him, which is also just baffling why he was trying to do this on the film. All this political satire stuff just doesn't really work for me. But then the best part of it, in my opinion, is when you're watching the main characters like Ray Fiennes, like his son in the film, and like Jeremy Artison's character and Jimon Honsu's character. I can't pronounce his name there. Jimon Honsu's character, obviously you can see at the right end of the poster. He's the one dressed in black there. And, he's great in the film. I think all the performances are really good. I think Ray Fiennes is great in the film. I really enjoyed watching Ray Fiennes. Obviously, you can see, he's in the centre of the poster there, the back centre of the poster. He is fantastic in the film. And I think Matthew Vaughn did a stroke of genius with casting him. I'm surprised they got him to be in this film. But there's a lot of action sequences where, he might have used a stunt double, but he doesn't look like he is. And honestly, I thought the action sequences with him in particular were fantastic. And actually, I think, like I said, the first 45 minutes of the film, first 45 minutes, first hour of the film, whatnot, I think that's pretty bad. But then actually, as soon as you properly get introduced to, Rasputin and Rhys Ifans' fantastic performance as Rasputin, I think that's when the film picks up and becomes a lot more enjoyable. And there's some action sequences, fight sequences between Rasputin and some of the Kingsmen, which are really, really good in my opinion. And then, the film is a bit baggy and it's a bit messy and it's a bit jumbled, and weirdly enough it feels rushed, and yet this film was finished all the way back in 2019. It was shot in 2019, and it was ready to come out in February 2020. And actually, I wonder if it changed. I wonder if Disney, watched the film and said, we want to edit this out, we want to edit that out. And originally the film was a lot longer and perhaps a bit more drawn out. And I'm not saying in a bad way, by the way, but I wonder if Disney changed the film, because obviously the Fox merger happened, and I wonder if Disney did change the film. I wonder if something happened behind the scenes. I'm not saying anything did, by the way. There's been no reports, but I wouldn't be surprised if this film bombs and Kingsman 3 gets cancelled, and Matthew Vaughn comes out and says, actually, you know what, Disney changed a lot of stuff to the Kingsman. I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of the film feels rushed, and not necessarily in a good way, but it is enjoyable. I enjoyed large parts of the film. Some of the CGI isn't the best, and some of the green screens in the background were pretty obvious, particularly in the last fight scene between Ray Fiennes and the big villain. Not going to give away who the big villain is, because actually that's a big reveal in the film. That's a big twist. But even so, the film has got a tremendous amount of problems, and it is, probably my least favourite Kingsman film today. I did kind of enjoy it, and it is a bit baffling why Matthew Vaughn made this film. But at the same time, though, as soon as I said that, I can kind of see why he didn't make this film. In the end, I think Matthew Vaughn, the director of the film, clearly just wanted to make a World War One movie. Honestly, there's a trench sequence in the film with, Ray Fiennes' character's son in the film, which works really, really well. I thought there's this whole section of the film in the middle act which takes place in the trenches, and it's brilliant. Honestly, it really is. You really feel like all the pain of the characters in that scene. And then there's a big twist there as well, which works really well. But also at the same time, they got all this comedy stuff, which just kind of feels like it doesn't really know what it wants to be. And actually, I think in the end, Matthew Vaughn, the director of the film, the co-writer of the film, simply wants to, he wants to solely make a World War One movie. And actually, in the end, he ends up making a World War One. A World War One movie's there. You can clearly make it. It's there. But at the same time, though, it's overcrowded by all this other comedy stuff, which is just, it doesn't work whatsoever. And like I said before, the big problem in the film is the plot. It tries to ingrain itself too much in these big historical events regarding World War One, when actually it should have just done the Indiana Jones thing, where basically it's going, World War One's going on, and this whole story to the Kingsman is going on the side. That's what it should have done. And actually, I think that's his biggest problem. But like I said before, there's a whole sequence in the trenches, which I think is terrific. I think that the whole stuff to Rasputin is also great as well. And I think it is really enjoyable in the end. The action sequences are enjoyable. I don't think they're as good as the action sequences in the first two Kingsman films, but I think they're great, and I think they're a lot of fun to watch. I also think the film has got a lot to admire there. I think it's got a great score. And I think that, I think Matthew Vaughn did a good job making this film. Like I said before, I think it's the worst Kingsman film to date, but I still think there's a lot to admire in there. And if you're a fan of the previous two Kingsman films, I would personally say you would enjoy this one. I would personally say you would enjoy this film. Now, I know a lot of people probably disagree with me, and that's fine. All film is subjective, but I'm a fan of the first two Kingsman movies. I love the first Kingsman film, Kingsman the Secret Service, to pieces. I love that movie. And I even really, really enjoy the second Kingsman film, Kingsman the Golden Circle. And you know what? I enjoyed this film as well. Even so the first half an hour was a bit like, what's going on? Why is this all going on? None of this is working for me. A lot of the rest of the film did. And I thought the best part, like I said before, is when you're just with the main characters, whether it's Ray Fiennes, the one who plays his son in the film, Jimon Hunsu, and also Gemma Arterton. I think they're the best parts of the film, and then I think everything else going around it. And pardon me, that doesn't always work so well. But I gotta say though, a lot of this film did work for me still. It did. I sound like I'm criticising the film a lot here, but actually, pardon me there, but actually, a lot of this film did work for me. It sounds small, what I'm saying did work for me, but actually it's quite big when you watch the film. And also, the villain reveal worked for me as well. A lot of people have been criticising the villain. I thought he worked for me. I'm not going to give away who the villain is, but when the big villain reveal happened, I had a guess it might be that character, but then when it happened, it still worked for me. The twist with the big villain still worked for me, even though it really shouldn't have. And I thought the film was fun. I heard Ray Fiennes describe it in an interview as one big roller coaster, and I can completely understand where it's coming from. Totally, it's a bit all over the place. It's a bit messy. It's baggy, like Don't Look Up. It's baggy, and it is a bit baffling why this film got made at this point. Like, why did Matthew Vaughn make Kingsman 1, 2, and 3, then this film? Because he's done it the way around. He's made Kingsman 1 and 2, this film, and then he's going to go and make Kingsman 3, which he's going to start production on next year. Why he's done it in that way? But nevertheless, so, I can understand where Ray Fiennes is coming from. It's just like one big roller coaster of a film, which works for me for the most part. It's the worst Kingsman film today, in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it. And really, I've got to be honest here, really need to go back and rewatch it a second time to really, cement my opinion on this film as a whole. And I reckon it'll be on Disney Plus in like 2 months or something like that. And by the way, I can see the stream's cutting out a bit. According to YouTube, the stream's cutting out a bit. Apologies if it does happen. But yes, I really need to watch the film a second time to cement my opinion on it. But for now, I like it. I think it's enjoyable. I think there's a lot to admire in it. I like the World War One setting. I wish it didn't ingrain the story so much in World War One, in big, World War One historical events. But overall, the film works for me. I enjoyed the main characters. I enjoyed the performances. Ray Fiennes is great in the film. So is Jimon Hunsu. So is Gemma Arterton. So is the one who plays Ray Fiennes' son in the film. And also, Written Fans as, Rasputin is chewing up the scenery in the best way possible. And it's enjoyable if... like I said before, what did I call this article? Give me a sec here. It is an It's a convoluted jumble, but overall still entertaining mishmash. That's what I'm going to say. The film as a whole, it's a convoluted, jumbled, but overall still entertaining mishmash, which is kind of how I feel about The Kingsman overall. And by the way, I just got a message on YouTube saying that the stream is cutting in and out. Apologies if that does happen, but like I said before, I'm going to repeat myself one more time just in case you didn't get that. It's a convoluted jumble, but overall still entertaining mishmash, which works for me for the most part. And so, for that reason, I'm going to say that The Kingsman, I'm going to say it's a 6.5, I'm going to say it's a 6.5 out of 10. You know, I can clearly see why some people wouldn't love this film. I wouldn't even like it that much, actually. But the thing is, though, I did still enjoy this film, and whether that's because I'm a bit of a Kingsman fan as a whole, like a bit of a soft spot for the Kingsman franchise, because I love the first one so much, whether that's just because I have a big, soft spot for the Kingsman franchise, I don't know. But the Kingsman did work for me for the most part, even so, it's got its huge glaring problems, it did still work for me, I'm somebody who would rather love a film than dislike it. I've disliked countless films over the years, and I probably go into 2022 and dislike countless more films in 2023 and dislike countless more films in that year, and so on and so on and so on. But the thing is, though, I much prefer liking a film over disliking a movie. And I'm going to be honest here, I liked The Kingsman. I watched it and I enjoyed it. I did. And I'm happy that I did in the end. I'm happy that I did because I've been waiting for this movie for God knows how long. I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of the Kingsman franchise, and that's completely understandable. I'm not forcing anyone to like it as much as I do. And I know a lot of people probably don't care about this movie because it's not done well as box office, whatsoever. But I'm happy I enjoyed this film, and I'm hoping Kingsman 3 gets made. And I'm hoping Kingsman 3 takes on all the criticism of the second Kingsman film, and takes on all the criticism of this Kingsman film, and in the end makes an amazing third film in the Kingsman franchise, or fourth film, should I say, depending on how you see it. But I'm hoping Kingsman 3 comes out and it blows all away. But for now, The Kingsman, it's a bit of fun. It's messy, it's all over the place, but like I said before, it's a convoluted jumble, but still entertaining mishmash. It's a convoluted jumble. I like the way I put that. Sounds a bit egotistical there, but I'm going to be honest, I love the way I put that little phrase there. It's a convoluted, jumbled, entertaining mishmash. That's how I feel about the film overall. It's entertaining, it's fun, if very messy. And I enjoyed it, but I'd probably have to go back and watch it again to give my full-on opinion on this film. But for now, I like it. I think The Kingsman is good. Not one of my favourite films of 2021, but I did enjoy it more than I expected to. And so, all in all, I'm going to say The Kingsman, I'm going to say that it's a 6.5 out of 10 for me. And so that is the end of my film reviews on this live stream for today. Please let me know in the comment section below, or whether you watch the playback or if you watch this live. According to YouTube, no one is watching this live, but YouTube may be lying to me. So how dare YouTube if you have been lying to me. But nevertheless, if you have been watching this, thank you as always for watching, and please let me know in the comment section below, what did you think of me doing my film reviews live instead of doing it fully edited? Do you prefer me doing it live? Do you prefer me doing it on camera, where I fully edit the reviews and things like that? Do you prefer when I don't ramble too much? That's what I'm trying to say in the end, because I rambled a lot more than I thought I was going to in this review today. But let me know in the comment section which way you prefer, if you have been watching this live stream. But as always, guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like, subscribe on this live stream, and look forward to many more both film and TV reviews and live streams coming in the new year. And also, I should say one more time, have a very good new year. Happy New Year to everyone watching this. Have a very good new year, and hopefully 2022 is going to be brilliant. Hopefully it's going to bring so many fantastic movies. But until then, guys, thank you as always for watching, and remember, if you have a topic you want to talk about in my next live stream, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll probably talk about it in my next live stream. But until then, guys, thank you as always for watching, and see you in 2022. But bye for now. Bye.